Okay,
Okay, so now today I will show you how to work with wood framing wall plus and floor plus, and in the following meeting next time I will show you how to work with roofs. Okay?
okay. Here we are in Argentine,
Yes, I know.
and I'm with a partner that work with the AGACAD software, and here we have some questions about the software. Just a question, especially of the wall link first. Do you have a class structural? I mean, if you have a stereotype class of or you can answer some questions of the software. Particular.
Of course, I have a standard training session that I can host, but of course that you can, if you want to, you can just ask me some questions. Of course.
Okay, start the class and later I will ask you.
Okay, or when I will start talking about something, you can just, if you would like, you can just interrupt me and ask, or later, after the training, you can also ask.
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, I have this model already modeled in Revit, and some of the walls are framed and some of the walls are not framed. So now I will show you how to frame these empty walls using Revit and Wood Framing Wall Plus. And before I show you that, there are a few things that you have to know before using the tool. So of course, before using it, I highly recommend to check out the eHelp page
Okay.
because in that eHelp page, you will find webinar records, also technical documentation where features are described in detail. Because right now in the training session, of course, I will show you uh, an overview of the features, but there's no time to show you all the features, so you will find them here if you need to. And right here you will find sample projects that you can download and try to use the tool on these projects first, and also template projects also that you can download and try to use. So I highly recommend to check out the eHelp page. You will find a lot of answers there. And
If
yes,
wait, can you go back to help?
yes,
Uh, at the web page, you have two kind of files: the template files and the sample projects.
yes.
Uh, in the template projects, which kind of information have the template?
You can actually watch a webinar about a template project is like a feature for our software. So now I don't want to waste our time because it's a lot. It's quite a lot to explain. But actually, I hosted a webinar about it, a separate webinar only about the template project. You see?
Uh-huh. Okay, okay,
So you can watch this webinar and everything will be clear for you. What is the template project? Okay? Yeah,
okay,
it's 27 minutes. So I will paste you in the chat box. Yeah? This link, if you can see it. You can save it somewhere.
okay,
Okay?
okay,
Yeah, great. And if you will have any questions after you watch it, you can of course write me and ask any questions you would like to know. And also there is a
okay,
blog post about the template project. Maybe it's somewhere here. Yeah, also. Nope, it's
okay.
not
Go on,
here.
go on.
Okay. Yeah, so you'll find those files there. And of course, before using the software, you should know that the model should be created correctly. So what do you have to pay attention to? First of all is whether the wall is structural or non-structural, because you will be able to create different configurations for openings that are in structural and non-structural. Second thing is the structure of the wall. So it's just the structure created in Revit. So for each of the layers created in Revit, you will be able to map a specific configuration. So you have to pay attention to these layers and the thickness of the layers, and they have to have a material. And also the material has to have a density parameter in it, because then the framing member mass will be calculated if you
Okay,
will
okay,
have
wait,
the density.
wait. That is the first question that we have.
Okay.
When I start a Revit project, I have to configuration a wall that will be framed.
Yes.
I have to create a wall that have so many layers.
You have to create a wall that like you need. It doesn't have to have so many layers. It can have only one layer if you need to frame only one layer.
Okay, I can create a wall that have one layer,
Yes,
just
or
one
two.
layer.
Yes, or 2 layers, or 3 layers, or 10 layers. It doesn't matter. As you need to. You can create any type of wall.
Okay, okay,
So,
go on.
yeah, so this is just an example. Let's say that I need these 5 layers, but if I need just one, I can create only one, or two, or three, or whatever. Yeah. So I create
Okay,
this wall structure. Because it's important, because later we will be able, as I mentioned in the wall link, we will be able to map configurations to those layers. Another thing that is important is the length of the wall. So if the wall will be framed as a prefabricated panel, it has to be created as a prefabricated panel. So let's say right here, it would appear that it should be one continuous wall in my Revit project, but that is wrong, because if I want to create 2 panels, I have to split that wall into 2 parts. So for example, this part and this part that is already framed. So we just create a one continuous wall in Revit, and then we can very easily split it using this split element tool in Revit. Yes, so it's very easy. And also the height of the wall has to be correct. And then the connections. So I will show you an example. I will go to the floor 1. Now I will take any kind of wall. Yeah, and I will draw
okay,
an L connection. So it's important how this connection is modeled in Revit, because later we will be able to create a configuration that is different for the longer wall in the connection and for the shorter wall in the connection. So if I would select this wall, you would see that this is the longer wall in the connection and this is the shorter wall in the connection. So it's important how it's created, because that is how it will be framed. This is where the frame will end in this wall, and this is where the framing will end in this wall. So if you want to change it, let's say you want this wall to be longer, you can do it by using standard Revit functionality, this function. Yeah, next you can just change it like that.
okay,
Yeah, so then when you will change it, then it will be framed like you want to. Okay, and that's it. Now we can use our framing software. So before using it, we have to load families and schedules, and the software will load all the structural framing elements that will be used for framing our model. You will find these families right here under the structural framing category, and it's very important that you would use the families that are loaded together with the software, because they have a lot of different parameters that are driven by the software. You cannot use your own families. Of course, if you need different sizes, you can very easily just create a new type. You can just duplicate any existing type and then change the parameters, and you will have a type that would be different dimensions. Or if you need, let's say, a different profile, you can just edit our families, and then you can edit the profile, and you will have what you need. So it's very easy. And then we can create a wall link. So for example, I showed you the structure of this wall created in Revit, and now I can open the wall link. So this is the wall link, and you can see that in the wall link, again, I can see the wall structure that is created in Revit. The 5 layers that I have created in Revit are here, and now I can map configurations. So let's say, yes?
Wait. The column that is in light gray, the 3 columns, function, material, and thickness, that
Yes.
is the configuration of the wall in Revit.
Yes.
Okay. When you put a structure means that this the principal framing good. Structure good is the frame of the wood of the wall.
I'm linking it. This is the wall structure created in Revit. So I created the wall with the structure layer, with the finish layers, substrate, and another finish layer. And you can see
Yes,
that this is the thickest layer of all, because I intended that this layer would be for the main frame. So I'm saying that this layer would be the main frame. I am seeing it. I can also see another thing. But I'm saying that it's the main frame, and this is the configuration I'm using. And for this layer, I am saying that this is the secondary frame, and so on.
Okay, the specific question is, you have the exterior side up.
Yes.
And down is the interior side.
Yes.
The question is, why you have two finish 1 and finish 2 to the side, to the exterior side, and why do you have just one finish in the interior side?
It doesn't matter. You will create your wall as you need to. Let's see, it's just my example, it's just an example. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be only structure, substrate, and that's it. Or structure and finish, and that's it. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just the type of my wall, okay? So now I will say that for this layer, I want to add the mainframe, and this is the framing type, and this is the configuration. So these are the rules that are created by the user, and you will be able to rename these rules, so I will show you in the next step how to create them. So for the mainframe, I'm saying that I want to add this configuration. For the horizontal nailers, this is the type of the layer, yeah? I want to add this rules, how the nailers are added. This is the secondary frame, I want to add this configuration, and so on. And this is the sheeting, so for the sheeting, I'm selecting not frame, but split parts, and this is the configuration for the sheeting. Okay, and when I'm done mapping my wall, I can frame it. But of course, now I will show you the configurations. So where you can create these rules that you map right here. So when you click on framing configurations, you will have this window opened. And right here, you will be able to create your own configurations. So right here, you will be able to create configurations for different frame types. So for the main frame, for the horizontal nailers, horizontal siding, secondary frame, vertical nailers, vertical siding, and even for the wooden lugs. When you will choose the configuration type that you want to create a configuration for, right here you will have a configuration name. So these 4 configurations are loaded together with the software. They're like sample configurations. You can choose the configuration that fits your needs best. You can save it as by your own name. Let's say you can change the name to create your own configuration, and then you will be able to change all the settings right here so that it would frame the walls as you need to by your own standards. These configurations can be created only one time, and then they can be used on your future projects. They can even be put on a server, so you can use them on different computers. You can share it with your colleagues, so you can create them only one time. So let's say we will take a look at this configuration. And right here in the common settings, you can predefine the main type of studs and main type of plates, so vertical and horizontal elements for your frame. And right here in the elements mark definitions, you can write values that will be written into the families and everything right here, and also they will be written in the schedules later automatically. So anything right here you can also rename by your own company standards, and this is, for example, the mark of the element, this is the description and the names and so on. You can, everything right here you can rename. Right here in the wall framing, you will predefine the vertical studs. So this is the family that will be used for the vertical studs, and also the depth can be defined by their thickness. So you don't have to take care of this second measurement right here, because if you created a wall, let's say of a thickness that is 200, but I'm adding this 120. I can, if I would tick this tick mark, the software will automatically create a new type of the element that will have 200 dimension.
Okay.
Or you can just choose right here if you have 200, but let's say I don't, so I can tick this tick mark and the software will automatically create one type. Then I can add a stud spacing and the first or last spacing and the rule for it. And also, yes?
Always you have to put the units in millimeters.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. If it's in metric, you can also use imperial units.
No, okay. In Argentine we have meters and millimeters.
Okay, okay. Then you will add it in millimeters.
Okay.
Okay, and right here is the top plate, and again you will choose the element type for the top plate, and also you can define the depth by layer thickness, and you can say how many elements do you want to use. And the same goes for the bottom plate. You will predefine the type and how many bottom plates will you add. And also right here you can add offsets around your walls, so you can make the frame to extend above your wall in Revit or to be lower and so on. And right here we have opening framing, so we can create different configurations for window framing, door framing. Opening framing is for MEP openings. Window and door joint framing is for windows that are close to each other, and window door joint framing is for windows and doors that are close to each other. So these are very, very similar, almost the same. So for example, we can take a look at window framing. And also, yes?
The two last columns, window door framing, and window door framing is when you put a window together.
When I put them very close to each other, for example, from 0 to 90 in this case. Then you can, in the middle, you can add, let's say, one very long header for them.
Okay.
Okay. And right here we have window framing, and as you can see, you can create different configurations for windows that are in non-structural walls and for windows that are in structural walls, and also for windows that are different sizes. For example, for windows that are from 0 to 1 meter, from 1 meter to 1.5 meter, you can add different headers maybe, or marking studs and so on, as you wish. Or you can keep only one configuration if you need to. So let's take a look at one of these configurations, and again you can save this configuration by your own name and use it in your future projects, so it can be created only one time.
Okay.
And right here, you can set the kink studs. So again, right here in this preview, you can see what you're configuring. And right here, you will choose the element type for the kink studs. And the depth can be defined again, and how many of the kink studs will you add. And right here we have a header, so again you will choose the element type that will be used for the header. And right here we have header configurations, so you can choose between these configurations that are added right here. And if you cannot find what you need right here, you can just choose custom header type. Then you can go right here to custom header, and you can create your own header, and the configurations are almost unlimited. You can create any type of configuration right here and save it and use it later. And right here we have top lead support, so the same goes for the top lead support as for the header. You can choose, or you can create a custom top lead support. And again, the same goes for the silk lead. You can choose, or you can create a custom silk lead. And then we have trimmers. We can select an element type for the trimmer and then the trimmer position. So we can make it go from the bottom plate to the header, or from the sill to the header, from the sill to the top lead, and so on. And right here in the other studs, we can add trimmers and top cripples and offsets around the opening. So when we make changes, we just save it, we save our configuration, and we make sure that the correct configuration is set right here. And then we have connections. So we have L connections, end connections, B connections, and T connections. So for example, for the L connections.
What?
Yes, sorry. I was drinking water. Yes?
Do you ask me?
No, everything is okay. I will continue.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so right here, for the L connection, we can create different configurations for the connections that are outer corners. So this is the interior, or inner corners. So this is the exterior, and also.
Okay, I didn't understand it.
Yes.
The outer connection and the L and the B.
Yeah, so this is the interior, inside the building,
okay.
Or this is the exterior, so this is inside of the building.
Okay.
Yeah, you can create different configurations for those situations. So right here, what we have is, again, we can select between these configurations that are the most popular ones, or you can create your own custom configuration, so the possibilities are unlimited. And also L corner and B corner. So L is for the longer wall in the connection, as you can see, as I showed you, and B corner is for the shorter wall in the connection. So you can create different configurations for shorter and longer walls in the L connection.
For example, if I want to the corner,
yes,
the same in the two frames, I have to put in the first column outer corner, the ill or outer corner, the first.
So these are two walls, one wall and second wall.
For example, the third.
Oh, this one.
Okay. If I want to that the two frames the corner the same in the two frames, I have to put in the ill outer corner and ill inner corner the third.
Yes, the same. You would just set the same.
Okay.
It's just yes. It's just an possibility for it to be different if you need to, but you can do the same thing on both. Okay, and then we have end connection. So free start and free end is for walls that end with nothing, that do not connect with any other wall, that just ends and that's it. So again, you can choose or you can create your own. And start connection and end connection is for walls that are split in the middle like that.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have V connection. So it's for walls that are not 90 degrees, more or less 90 degrees. So you have, again, like with the E connection, you have the outer corner and you have the inner corner. And with the T connection, you can create how elements are distributed for the walls that intersect each other. So this connection is for the longer wall, and this is for the wall that is intersecting into another wall. And again, you can choose between these or create your own. And also you can add a ridge stud. And bridging, nogging, and blocking is for horizontal elements. So if you want to add horizontal elements in your frames, you will add it with the bridging, nogging, and blocking. So for example, right now I'm adding this element type as my horizontal element. I am rotating it by 90 degrees. Also, I want this element not to be one long element that is cutting the studs, but a lot of short elements that are cut by the studs. So I'm using short noggings, and I'm cutting the bridging, not the studs, but the bridging. And I'm airing the element from the bottom of the wall by this distance. And I'm adding only one row of these elements. Yeah, so this is the rule that I'm adding my elements by. And this is the secondary stud system, so it's not used actually very often, so maybe you will not need to use it at all. It's used for the studs like, let's say for the double studs, or if I need every third or every second stud to be different width. And additional elements are added later, after we frame the wall, so I will show you after we frame the wall. And now I will just very quickly remove the details. Okay. Okay, and now when we make changes in our configuration, again, I already showed you, but I will repeat myself. We need to map the correct configuration. So right here in the wall link, I have this layer, and yeah, this is the configuration name that I just showed you. So I will use this configuration. And now I can just select my walls, hit frame wall, and that's it. And now the tool is distributing the frames into my walls by the selected rules, by the created rules in my configuration.
Okay.
Yeah, and as you can see, the frames are created. So these are...
Yes. You. Wait. Bueno. How we can put the other elements of the frame? For example, the nailers.
I will show you.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, so but before that, I want to show you a couple more things.
The software frame the wall, the structural. First, the structural parts of the wall, and later I can frame the other elements.
Not necessarily, but this is the recommended workflow. Yes, you add the main frame, and then we add second layers, other layers.
Okay.
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 Okay, so now I framed my walls, and before adding other layers, let's say that I want to modify something in my wall. So let's say the architecture changed. So maybe my wall became longer or shorter, or the opening was moved, or I added another opening and my frame is no longer correct. So what should I do now? I can use update frame, select any element from my wall, and the framing elements will be updated according to the changes in my architectural model.
Okay, I have just to click on
Update
any
frame.
element.
Yes, from the frame.
Wall.
From the frame.
Okay.
Yes.
From the frame.
Yeah, and the frame will be updated. And of course, if you would make a change not in the architecture model, like the wall or opening, but in the configuration of the frame, then you would need to use update by wall link, this update.
Okay. If I make a different configuration of the wall type, I have to update by wall link.
If I would go to the frame configuration and change this header, let's say in the configuration, I would have to use update by wall link.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, and and also I can modify this frame if I need. For example, of course, that's logical, yeah, that if I would need to change, let's say I change my mind and they want to add different headers above these openings. I want to change them. So then, of course, I would modify the framing configuration, yes, and I would update by wall link, and that would be correct. But let's say that I want to change only this header, not all headers in my project, not both, but this one only and this one only. So I can do that also. And I can change only for this wall a lot of things, like the stud spacing, like the join or the header or the bridging, a lot of things, and I can do that with the modify frame commands. So in this example, I will change the header. So for the header, I would have to modify the opening framing. Let's say I will click on any element from the opening, and here we have my opening configuration. So I can modify the opening only in this wall, not all walls, but only in this one. So let's see for this example.
That is because up when it's the configuration say instance, because it's only just this.
Yes.
Instance means that is only this header.
Yes.
Okay.
Only this one, not the other one, not the other one, only this one.
Okay.
If you need to change all, then change in the configuration. If only one, then go for the modify.
Can you modify this header?
Yes. So now it was this one, yeah, this double one. And now let's say I want to add the simple one. So I just click on OK, and it will be changed. Only above this opening, like that.
Perfect.
Yes. And not above this one. This one stayed the same. Okay, and now let's say that I want to add additional elements. So also I can do that. So I can use add additional bridging, knocking, and blocking for horizontal elements or the studs for vertical. So let's say I will choose add additional stud, and I have to select the stud from which I want the second one to be added. So let's say I will select this one, and now I will say that I want to add this element to the right from the selected stud, and this will be the offset distance from the selected stud, and I will add only one element. Okay? And the additional stud will be added.
Perfect.
Yeah, and it's right here. And also we can add additional bridging, knocking, and blocking. So horizontal elements. Let's see, I will add a horizontal element between this one and this stud, and I will use this type. I will use short elements, not one long element, but two short elements, yeah. And this I will add one row, and this will be the offset from the bottom. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I'm going to add a horizontal element. So.
But you have to select the two studs first.
Yeah, I have to select between which stud I want to add. Maybe only these ones, yeah. But I selected this and this, so I got this row.
Okay, but you have to click with Control.
No. Just
okay.
Just one click and second click without control. It will say what to do right here. You see?
Yes.
Select vertical stud in frame. It's telling me what to do so that I would know.
Okay.
So when you click on, let's say, add additional, you thinking what to do, yeah? You don't know what to do. So read right here. It says select vertical stud, yeah? So you select it, and then it says again select vertical stud. So you select it again, and that's it, and you get this table.
Perfect. If I want to delete this non-blocking.
Yeah, so you can just delete additional elements.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Yes, or you can modify additional elements. Let's say if you add it too low and want to add it, make it higher, you can modify it. You can do lots of different things. Also, you can use these functions from move elements, because let's say if I have this frame, but I want this stud to be moved, I can also move it using these commands. So you can do all kinds of stuff. You can modify the frame all kinds of ways. It's very flexible. And let's see now that I made all the modifications I wanted. I modified the header, I added additional elements and so on, and now I want to add all other layers like nailers, sheeting, and so on. So now I will add all other layers.
That is we want to see.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to split the sheeting, let's say. So the sheeting configurations are right here. And again, I can create by my own name and save it and use it in my future projects. And right here, it's very simple. I can just set the layout, offsets around the openings, and offsets around the connections for the sheeting. Okay. Yeah, and now I can just select elements from my frames with Control now, and split sheeting and paneling parts. Yeah, now the tool is splitting the sheeting, but we will not be able to see the sheeting yet because it is created as Revit parts, so we will have to turn on the parts visibility in order to see it. You see, I cannot see it, but it's split. So I will turn on, oops.
Can you repeat this? Just one time.
Yes, now I will show you, okay? You cannot see the sheeting, you see? You cannot see it. That is because it's created as Revit parts, so we have to turn on the visibility. So now I'm showing you how to do it. Yeah, you see now it's show original, so I will turn on show parts. Okay. Yeah, and the sheeting is in the interior side, so I will turn my building, so I could see the interior. Yeah, so you can see the sheeting is split.
Okay.
It's created as Revit parts. Yeah. So now I will go back to the original view and add all other layers. Okay, so now for this wall, what else do I have? In the wall link, I said that I'm also adding, so I already added the frame and the sheeting, and what is left is secondary frame, horizontal nailers, and siding for my wall. So I can add them one by one, or I can add them all at once. So first of all, we add them with the add elements, these commands. So I will add the secondary frame now. I selected the wall, and that's it, and now it's adding the secondary frame by the wall link. Okay, and you can see in the interior side of my wall, the secondary frame is added, and the elements are automatically aligned with the main frame.
Okay.
Yeah, and now what else? I have the nailers, so I can add the nailers. Add nailers, select the wall, and now the tool
yes.
is creating horizontal nailers, because for this wall I'm using vertical siding, so I'm adding horizontal nailers now.
In the exterior you have horizontal nailers, and in the interior side you have vertical nailers.
Yeah, well, this is a secondary frame, but it also can be vertical nailers. Yeah. It's just called secondary frame in this situation, but for that wall I will show you also vertical nailers, because in this wall I have vertical siding, so I need horizontal nailers, but in this wall I will have horizontal siding, so I will add vertical nailers. So I will show you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I added horizontal nailers, and now I can add the siding. Okay, now the siding will be added.
Do you have to select the wall, but
Yeah,
the Revit or the frame, the wood frame,
the wall.
the wall of Revit?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And okay, you see that the siding is added, and now I can also frame all layers at once. So I can use frame additional layers. Yeah, you see now I'm selecting the wall.
The wall of Revit.
Yes, yes, this is a transparent wall in Revit.
Yes, yes, I can see that.
Okay, and now the tool is creating all three frames at once. I don't have to select add nailers, add secondary frame, add siding.
Ah, okay. This is in one step.
Yes.
Just all the frame and the nailers
No,
and the
not the
side.
frame, not the frame. All additional
Ah,
layers. So not the main frame, but the nailers, the secondary frame, and the siding. All three layers, additional ones. The main frame is added by frame wall. Yeah, and you can see that all layers were added at once. So for this wall, you can see it's a vertical siding in the exterior side.
perfect.
Vertical nailers, I'm
Here,
sorry. Yeah?
here, I can tell you something. Well, here in Argentine, we make the same wall, but in the interior side, before the nailers, we put a plywood
Yes,
in
you
the
can do
interior,
it. You can do it.
and later we put vertical nailers.
Yeah, it does. Okay, it doesn't matter. You will just say uh, in the wall link, you will just say that this is frame, then this is sheeting, and this is nailers, and that's it.
Okay. Uh, here in the wall link, I have I have to put in the Revit wall
Yes,
a layer that will be the sheeting.
yes.
For example,
You see
for
that
example,
right here, I see the wall structure in Revit. So you create this in Revit. And then you say that right here, I want to add the mainframe. And for your situation, let's say, now you have to add the sheeting, yeah? And now you have to
okay.
add the nailers. And then maybe you want to add nothing, maybe. So, but in this situation, you wouldn't have anything anymore.
For example, I put from the center to the interior side of the frame. I put the frame, later the sheeting,
Yes, frame sheeting.
later the horizontal nailer, and for the finish in the interior side, I put ¿cómo se llama? Es uh, it's not plywood, no, it's not wood. It's like the finish of the buildings. I don't know the word in English.
If you don't need to frame it, you can just don't frame it at all. It can be in
I,
Revit.
I want to put it's like cement.
Well, you will try it, okay? I just want to show you that you can create any type of wall. For it,
Okay,
it's just an
go
example
on.
that I show you, and you can create
Go,
any type of wall you need.
okay, go on.
Yes, so now I framed my walls and I am ready to create shop drawings. So I can go to shop drawing configuration.
Okay,
Okay, and in the shop drawing configuration, I can create configurations what views and what schedules do I want to create for my frames. Right here, for example, I will create an assembly for maybe for the vertical siding, so I can see what views do I want to create. Okay, now I will create, let's say, I want to create, yeah, the 3D view I want to create. Yeah, right here. Then I want to create the plan detail, elevation front view. Right here, everything you can create. You can add new views or you can remove these. These are sample configurations. You can modify it. This you can rename the view name, and you can see what kind of view type will it be. So will it be elevation, or will it be a plan detail, or maybe a 3D view? You can right here, you can choose. So right here I'm adding a 3D view, plan detail, front view. I'm also adding horizontal nailers, yeah, vertical siding also. Section view I want to also create, and the secondary frame view also want to create, let's say. And right here I'm adding what framing layer do I want to create, and the view template is a standard view template that comes from the Revit project. And also we can add a dimensioning rule, so all our elements would be dimensioned automatically. And we can also add a structural frame tag, so all our elements would be tagged automatically. And we can even add a gravity point. So I will create an assembly with these settings, and we will take a look at what will we get. And also right here we can create schedules. So all our elements would be calculated. So I can calculate main frame elements, material takeoff, the sheeting, also secondary frame and the vertical siding I can calculate. And right here I can create the sheets. Okay, so now I can just save it, save and close,
Okay.
and I can create the frame assembly. So I will just click on create frame assembly and select any element from the frame. It doesn't matter, so I just select any element, and now it will ask me what shop drawing configuration do I want to use. Yes, so I will choose this one, let's say, create. Now the tool is creating all those views and schedules that I predefined in my shop drawing configuration.
Okay.
Yeah, and we will see all those views created automatically in a minute, and all our framing members will be tagged automatically, and they will be dimensioned automatically. And we will also have schedules where all elements will be calculated with the material takeoff and the cut list, and even the material mass will be calculated because we added an element with a material with the density parameter. Okay, and it's done. And now we can find it under the assemblies right here. Yeah, and you can see that the 3D view was created, the details section is created, and all elements are dimensioned. The frame front view is created, and the gravity point is added, and all elements are dimensioned, and all elements are tagged, but I cannot see the values of the tags yet because I need to use sort structural framing by wall mark. And now the tool is numbering all these structural framing elements in my project, not only in this assembly, not only in this wall, but in all projects. So I need to use this function after I add all structural framing elements. After I frame all my walls, I need to use it only one time, and all my elements will be numbered.
Okay, because if you still framing another walls, this mark will replace.
Not necessarily, but you will just have to use it again and again.
Okay, I have to update all the marks in the project.
No, because now the marks are the same for the same elements. See, vertical stud number 2, vertical stud number 2.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so now they were all marked automatically, and right here you can see the view with the sheeting. Also, the sheeting is marked, and the sheeting is also dimensioned, as you can see. And here I have a framing plan detail, and the horizontal nailers, and the secondary frame, and the vertical siding, and also I have schedules. So I have the material takeoff, the assembly part list where the framing member mass is calculated, and the frame schedule, the horizontal nailer schedule, secondary frame, sheeting, vertical siding, or I don't know why. Maybe I haven't numbered it. And now I have the sheets. So now I can compose my sheet. Yeah, so I can add views to the sheets, but also they can be created automatically from scratch if you will use the template project that I showed you. So watch this webinar to find out how to do it. Okay. And now,
if I use a template file, this sheet is automatically?
yes, by the template project.
Okay.
Okay, and now let's say I can add views that I want, any type of views to this sheet. Yeah, so this is just an example. Let's say that, yeah, let's say that it's all that I composed my sheet. Yeah, and now I want to create all other sheets automatically by this sheet. So now I can set this sheet as a template, and all other sheets in this project will be created by this sheet. So now I can go to shop drawing configuration, and you see I composed one sheet. I can also do that for the other ones, but I will, in this example, I will show you with one of them. And right here in the sheets, you see sheet template. I can see that this is a template sheet. This one that I did. But this is not a template project. This is another feature. Template project is also a great one, but it's different. You can check it out. But in this project, yeah, I can set it as a template, save it, and now when I will create for another wall, let's say this one, again with the vertical siding, the sheet will be created automatically by that wall. Yeah. And now we will see that not only the views will be created, but also the sheet. And if you use the template project, then you don't even have to compose that first sheet in the project. It already creates automatically from the first one. But if you don't use the template project, you have to compose the first one yourself.
Okay.
Hace un muro y un frame. Nosotros tenemos un muro y podemos hacer dos, tres, porque una cantidad de frames. Hay que ver eso por el tema del acabado. Un acabado por cada frame.
Claro. I have some questions.
Okay.
The first one is, for example, in one project I have, for example, 4 walls, and the 4 walls have 2 exterior siding different.
Yes.
I have to make a frame configuration different for these 2 walls with different siding. Yes.
Only different siding configuration. Not frame.
Okay.
Only siding.
That is in the sheeting configuration.
No, it's in the frame. Sheeting is only for sheeting. All other layers in the framing configuration.
Yes, and the question is where I configuration, I do the configuration of the different siding,
Yes,
for
I
example,
understand. Right here in the framing configuration window.
and the framing configuration.
Yes, for all layers. So for siding, for nailers, everything in the framing configuration. I will very quickly show you. You can turn on framing configuration and you see configuration type and you choose what do you want to create. So you can create different siding configuration or nailer configurations.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay,
Sheeting
perfect.
is only for sheeting. Yeah?
But entonces, the question is when I wall link, I have to, for example, wall number one is vertical siding, and
Okay, okay,
wall
let me explain,
number
okay?
two. Okay,
I have it right here. You see? Vertical and horizontal. You see? So the thing is that if all layers have to be the same, but the wall has to have only different siding. So this one should be with vertical, this one should be with horizontal. You first of all you have to create two different wall types in Revit. So this wall in Revit, I'm having a hard time selecting it. 1 minute, yeah. I selected the wall in Revit. So this is exterior one vertical siding type. And this is
in
another
the
type.
type. This is the type of the wall Revit. The wall Revit.
Yes, you have to
Okay.
create two separate types because then you will be able to select a different configuration in the wall link. And you see this is a
Okay.
different wall type.
Okay.
This is a
I
different wall
understand.
link. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
and now when I have two different types, I can assign different wall links. So for this wall, the wall link, I say that this is a horizontal siding. And for
Perfect.
this wall
Perfect.
link, I see vertical siding. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So now,
The word that I didn't remember is plasterboard.
oh, okay. So you can
Plasterboard.
add it with sheeting.
Okay. That. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you will just set a material that would be for plasterboard.
Okay.
Okay, and now I just created an assembly for this wall. Yeah, it is right here. Yeah, and you can
This
see,
is automatically.
yes, and you can see that these views were created and also a sheet was created automatically.
Very okay. Very good.
Yeah, and yeah, and that's it. That is the basic workflow of Wall Plus. And do you have any more questions?
No. No. Maybe we can try some projects and maybe I have more training or just one this.
No, you will have more training. You will have more training.
Perfect, perfect. I will try in some projects and later I will tell AGACAD for more training.
Okay, okay. When you will have more questions, we can arrange another training. And also, what I wanted to show you is about the Floor Plus. I will show you very quickly because the Floor Plus is completely the same as the Wall Plus. So if you know how to use the Wall Plus, you will know how to use the Floor Plus as well. As you can see, everything is the same except that the Floor Plus doesn't have the log functions, but everything else is the same. So we create a floor in Revit, yeah, like with the wall. We set the floor structure again with the layers, yeah. Then we configure the floor link. So like with the walls, we map configurations to the floor layers. So right here is the battens, then the sheeting, then the flooring, then the battens, then the sheeting. For example, you can create your own, okay?
Okay,
And right here in the framing configuration, also everything is almost the same. You can create your own configurations, yeah, configuration type and configurations, and you can frame the floors right here, and you can add additional elements. You can frame additional layers right here, and everything is almost the same. as you can see. Yes, so you can try to use it, because if you know how to use the wall plus, you will know how to use the floor plus as well. And maybe right here the configuration path is not correct for my floors. Yeah, this one. See, okay. So for example, we can, if I will click on frame floor, my floor will be framed. This is very simple, just like the wall plus. So you can try both of these tools, and in the next training, if you will have difficulties, you will let me know. And of course, for the floor plus, we also have the e-help page. So if you will find questions, first of all, make sure to take a look at this e-help page. Yeah, for the floor plus as well, you will find technical documentations, webinar records, sample and template project samples right here.
Okay.
Yes, so you can take a look. And also, I will send you a record of this training, so you will be able to watch it again. And also, if you'll have any questions, you can write me an email, okay?
Perfect, perfect. Thank you for
Okay.
all, Eve.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye, have a nice day.
Okay, the same for you. Bye bye.
¿Se puede
Bye-bye.
escribir?
Sí.